Hello everyone, welcome to the next session on AnubhavTrainings.com. In today's session, we will talk about creating ABAP-Managed Data Procedure in ABAP on Cloud. We will also look at how can you analyze the performance of an execution of an AMDP in context of total database time it is taking and total time which it is taking on the ABAP side. Basically, we will learn how to do performance analysis using ABAP Profiler as part of ABAP development tool in Eclipse. So let's get started today's session first with a quick introduction of types of artifacts which you can create in ABAP on Cloud system. So these are all the top different types of artifacts which can be persisted or created as an ABAP on Cloud system. So you can start with an ABAP-Managed Data Procedure, nothing but a class which is wrapping SQL Script code. We have also covered this in detail as part of our ABAP on HANA come S4 HANA training. It can include CDS views, which also acts like a business object data layer for your RESTful application programming model. We have another set of data definitions for behavior definition and implementation, where we have two types of scenarios, so-called managed and unmanaged scenarios. And finally, the topmost layer of RESTful application programming model, which includes service definition and service bindings to expose the web APIs as well as the APIs for Fiori applications, which can be adopted quickly into the cloud solutions. So that's the portfolio we have in ABAP on Cloud. If you want to subscribe to complete end-to-end RESTful ABAP programming training or ABAP on Cloud training, feel free to visit AnubhavTrainings.com. So let's talk about our scenario for this demo session. In our scenario, what we will be doing is we will be going ahead and we will be creating a very simple AMDP. So the first step is we need to create an AMDP which will query data from flight and carrier table using SQL Script code. In step number 2, we will be also doing a currency conversion using HANA Native SQL, and that will be in another AMDP method. In step 3, we will invoke one AMDP in another one. Finally, we will create an executable class which will call the AMDP method and show the results in console. At the end, once it's completed, we will execute and test it, and then we will use ABAP Profiler in ABAP development tools in Eclipse to check the performance of AMDP. This was also been an ask since many days by some of you that Anubhav, can you showcase how can we use performance trace of an ABAP-Managed Data Procedure, including the stack trace. So let's get started with our scenario. I will switch to ABAP on Cloud system. Now this is the system which is already configured as part of my ABAP development tools in Eclipse. If you're not aware of how to configure or set up our free trial for ABAP on Cloud system, which is offered as part of SAP Cloud Foundry environment, please do click on the I button. I will also put the link of that video into the description of this video, so you can check that. Now, assume that we have our system already set up here. I will just go ahead and create a new package quickly. So let's create a new package, and I will say Z ABAP on Cloud 2020 AMDP requests, and I say next, and we'll just quickly finish this up. Now, once the package is created, we'll start with an AMDP class. Don't worry, I will also share the complete source code of this class with all of you. please click on the link below in the video description to find the source code of this class. And now I will go back and create a quick class here as part of our package. So let's add a new class and let's name this class as ZCL Demo AMDP 2020. And I just say next, finish. Now it's quite important that when we create such a class, we must have to add two interfaces. The first interface will be for creating an AMDP methods as part of our class, and the second one will be a method which will allow us to run the class locally in ABAP on cloud environment. Because it's a restricted environment, we have very limited about functionality here. So in order to print the result, we can't use write statement. Hence, we have to use another class to just give a result on the console. So for that, I will go to the public section and I will add to interface the first market interface for adding an MDP. For holding the SQL script code for us. And the second one will be the interface for running console output using the class. Awesome. Now we'll go to the method definitions and we will define two AMDP methods. The first method is going to be the method to get the flights, and the second one will be to convert the currency. Before that, I'll also declare some data types. So let me declare some class types to hold my data, which is going to come from the database using AMDP calls. And we will be using here the demo model, which is offered as part of SAP Cloud Platform, Cloud Foundry trial for ABAP platform. So that demo model starts with Ivory table and data element starts with DMO. DMO stands for demo model. And this is basically the same flight model which you used to learn core ABAP in the past in ECC system. So same flight model is available here. So I just put carrier name. Then we'll say flight connection. I'll just keep old price. So basically we'll be doing a currency conversion. So I'll be keeping old price and new price after currency is converted. And let's declare the new price. This is my first type. Awesome. Let's declare the next data type. Flight line. You can do code control space for doing code completion here. Then once again, the flight connection is also needed. Then we will just have price and currency. So these are all the data types I would need during my class execution. Awesome. So that's our data type which we have declared. Let's also declare internal tables to hold all this data which we will be processing or reading from the database. So one for the result table. So one for result line. This is the final result which is produced. And then there is a data type for flight table. You can also double click here to make your window maximize. It's a flexible development environment. Awesome. And now we will have also TY flights. The data type is similar to the flight data table in demo model. Now let's declare the methods. There will be two AMDP methods we will be declaring, one for currency conversion, one which will be reading the flight data, including the price data. So let's declare those two methods. So the first method is my get flights. And remember, all the data variables are of type pass by value, exporting. And then we have a value result, type this table, result table type. And of course, for error handling, we will also have exception management. So we can say this can probably do a raising. Any AMDP method which you typically have will probably throw an exception of type CX AMDP execution error. That's what will contain the error from the database. So it will be very handy for us to read those errors during the processing of an AMDP. We can handle the exception and can find it. Convert currency is the next one. The definition of the second method. This is also answering to the question of many of you ask me, Anubhav, how can we do currency conversion using AMDP? This is how you can do that. You can create a reusable method. So now in this, we will input flights. And that's going to be type flight table. Remember, all the parameters are of pass by value in an AMDP. And then we have exporting result. This is also pass by value. Result table can be mapped directly. Of course, again, there will be exception handling purpose. It may raise the same exception of execution error in AMDP. So these are all the two methods we have created: convert currency and get flights. So what next? We will be going ahead and writing implementation. Of course, as you can see here, get flights and currency conversion. Two methods are created. So we will be writing implementation. So now I'll show you a quick tip here for ADT. You can just click on this error button and it shows you these options to just say add three implementation method. Double click and it quickly generates the automatic implementation stubs for you where you can start writing the code. Now, two of the methods we declared, but this one has come due to adding the class run interface, which is actually going to give you the console output. We'll be using this to bring the console output. So it's time to write the code one by one in each one of the AMDP method. Now remember, since they are AMDP methods, as you all know, for an AMDP method, we have a special syntax. So I'll just add that up here for get flights by database procedure. For HDB language SQL script, options read only because it's a read only procedure. We are not doing any update or DML related to the database. And then we have to also add the database tables which are participating in the method usage. So I will just add there two tables: DMO flight table, which contains the flight price information, and DMO carrier table, which contains the information about the airline carrier. Yeah. Just add those two tables here. And now it's time to write SQL script logic as part of this with the return statement of the format which we need. So let's add here flights. So this is a SQL script code now I'm writing. Select distinct value of my name, airline. So we'll be getting airline code. And from the flight table, we will be getting the connection ID. Then we will be getting the price, currency code, from our flight table, the demo model flight table. This gets joined with the carrier table, and this goes as a carrier table, and this goes as a flight table. So that's a join with the join condition flight.carrier ID. And it's important that we put them in double quotes because it's a SQL script. Yeah, so carrier ID of flight matches with the carrier ID of the airline table. That's a SQL script code, not ABAP SQL. And now it's time to call the next procedure call. And we have to mention the class name in the capital letter because this second one is also going to be creating as a AMDP, ABAP-Managed Data Procedure. So let's do that. ZCL underscore demo underscore AMDP underscore 2020 static call to convert currency. And let's pass this as an input parameter flights and get the result. This is how you call one AMDP in another AMDP in ABAP-Managed Data Procedures. So let's declare this second AMDP, convert currency. It's here. Now, since you have not yet marked this also an MDP, the system is giving you an error. That's okay. Just going to do that. Mark this as an MDP. Yeah. Now, this one is not using any table straightforward. Rather, it's going to do a currency conversion. So let's approve a currency conversion here. So first of all, we have to declare a couple of variables in SQL script. Date. If you're willing to learn more about HANA SQL scripting language, it's covered in my ABAP on HANA S4 HANA training in detail, where we learned about everything on SQL script, which will help you to write an AMDP much better. Now we will have new currency. Declare some SQL script variables here for my purpose. And now we will just go ahead and say select current date from the framework, from the current HANA system. This is how we get current date in HANA using SQL script. And now once we got that, we also just set our new currency, hard coding it right now. Of course, you can read it from a customizing table, but right now I'm hard coding it to euro. So all the output will be in the euro currency. I'm hard coding it here in this variable. Finally, we'll say result equals to select distinct values, airline, flight connection, price, the current price as old price, currency as old currency, and now we'll apply here the conversion. So let's apply the conversion, convert currency. That's a built-in function in HANA to apply currency conversion. Now, what are all the arguments we need to pass to this function? We need to pass the amount, and that's nothing but your price value. Then we have the source unit, Then we have the target unit. Then we have reference date, which is LV today. And I'll just hard code the client value as 100. That's a default client for cloud system. Just hard coding that value here in the system. Then the next parameter is we're going to pass that. So how to handle the errors in case of currency conversion is not working due to incorrect rates or rates not maintained in TCU-KY tables. What to do in that case? So that's called error handling parameter. What to do in case of errors? I would just instruct the system, set the value to null. That's what we'll do. And which schema to use for currency conversion in HANA? So we'll say use current schema. It's a session variable in HANA, which will tell you the current schema. And this whole thing converts and comes to be as a new price. Then you have new currency. From flight variable. So everything in SQL script evolves around the SQL language. And that's our second procedure. So first one is this one, and then the second one is this one. So both the procedures are now complete. It's time to write our main method to print the output in the console, where we will be calling our AMDP method, producing the final result, looping over it and printing it in the console output. So let's go ahead and do that. So before we move, let's do a quick syntax check here, and I can just try to just click on this check button, and now I can see a couple of problems. You see these problems. So it's easy to now check the problems in the problems view, and there are two errors it is indicating. So the first error is coming here, variable depends on unassigned variable flight. So this is coming from here. You can see flight. So basically this convert currency method has a parameter called flights. It's a plural. And I have done a typo while using the name. So I'll just save this one. So now I'll just try once again to check the syntax, and now I see identifier must declared LV today. So this LV today is not declared. So it's LV date, not LV today. Just put that here also. So correct that and just do a check again. And I see one of the error is gone, but the second error is coming here. So this one, I think also the problem is with results. So here the spelling is incorrect. Just put it, correct it, save and do check again. Okay. So now you can see still there's an error. So that's where exactly another important point comes regarding AMDPs, that if you are planning to use one AMDP in another AMDP, you must declare that in the using clause. And that's what it's saying. You can see the method, sorry, the error is saying the same thing. ABAP objects and DDIC objects must be declared in using clause of the method. So that's what you have to do that. So let's also take this up, the name, and just keep it next to the table. I just save this now and try to reactivate, and voila, the table got the AMDPs got activated. At least our methods are active now. It's just the last thing which we need to run and show the result to the end user with the final currency conversion. So I'm going to come back to this output console class, and here is where we will do the call of AMDP, which calls the convert currency AMDP later on, and we'll produce the final result. So let's give a try catch, a handling as well. So now I will just do my current class object, and please call get flights, control space, shift enter. It produces the code, and this I will keep an inline data declaration in ABAP to just get the value here. And this of course catches the AMDP exception. So just handle that exception. Hello exception. Just in case if there is a problem while the call, we will get to know. For example, currency rates are not maintained. This will produce an exception. So we want to write that exception out. So we'll use this output parameter and just write the exception value out. So basically we'll write our exception. Please get me the long text of the issue and just print that to the end user. That's what we are telling. This is the exception handling for an AMDP based methods. If no exception, probably move on and just write me the output finally on the UI. So that's my LT result, which I will pass it here. That's superb. Amazing piece of code. Let's activate. So what we learned in this class, we learned many concepts. So first concept we learned about writing an AMDP, connecting to our ABAP on cloud system. This also proves that ABAP on cloud system supports the AMDP feature, adding the marker interface, creating the local types and local methods, especially these methods are of AMDP methods, writing SQL script code, calling one AMDP with another AMDP, and then also doing the currency conversion using the HANA SQL function. And then we have also learned about the concept of the local class for console out. So it's time to see it in action. So now what I'm going to do is I'm just going to press F9. F9 is the shortcut to run this this particular program, and I will of course print it in the console. So I will just expand this, press F9, and let's see. Oh wow, there you go. So you can see here, this is also converting the flight price. The old price was this in Singapore dollar, and it's converting to now euros, and that's your currency conversion live in action as a result. But now come to the very interesting part. What about performance trace? How can I do performance trace of our AMDP? So it's very easy. We need to go to Window, Preferences, and now here you choose ABAP Development and Profiling option, and just choose this checkbox called Enable ABAP-Managed Data Procedure Trace. Say Apply, Apply and close. And now we are ready to create a profiling for this procedure because now we have enabled the profiling. So I will right click here and say Run as. There's an option also to profile as. Yes, you can see. And I say ABAP Application Console. Just click on this button and now you can see the same window. We just say Finish. It will call the procedure. You see your results are coming. But interestingly, now what you can see is just go back to your profiling perspective. And here you can see the information about the system would have generated a profile, not here. You can just see bottom. You see ABAP traces and expand the trace and you see this trace here. Double click on this trace and voila, there you go. You can see it's telling you the total consumption time. The overall execution took 94% of the time in the database system and 6% of the time in ABAP system. You can also see here the call sequence, in what sequence these methods were called. So first of all, our some of the standard methods were called, and then we called the get flight. Get flight then called the other method. So this is the call sequence. You can always see the total time, the percentage of the time consumption. So basically it's a runtime trace which you get it. There are a lot of these options available for you to analyze the different method calls, the objects which it has touched, the data dictionary objects which it has touched, which of the method has touched those objects, the different timelines, how much time each of the database operation is taking, the call sequence, the call timelines, then in terms of in database accesses, which of these AMDPs are accessing the database, and then of course AMDP specific process. So you can see here the currency conversion time, which was started this time, ended at this time, total duration was this time. It's all in microseconds. So this is the microsecond time. You can see always each of the method have taken how much of the time. while the AMDP was being called. So this is a very good profiling option in the tool available for you to analyze the runtime performance of an ABAP managed data procedure. Hope you enjoyed this video. If you do like this channel, please feel free to subscribe this channel, and do like and share this video with your colleagues so that they can also take benefit out of it. Don't forget to hit the bell icon so that you get updated with the latest videos coming on this free learning university with Anubhav. And with that, Anubhav signing out. Thank you so much for attending this session, and I'll see you in the next video.